Whenever you have any organization that tells you to be in a closed box and not wander off into uncharted territory of research, no matter what that organization is, no matter what they claim, it is your responsibility as an individual with the brain that God has given you to question everything. Everything. You know, there's one organization, they're called Jehovah's Witnesses. They are not the only organization that tells their members to do research within the organization and not to branch out. They are not the only organization. You also have the Hebrew Israelites. They tell their members not to do research outside the box that they're in, right? And of course, there are other members too. So let's start with Jehovah's Witnesses. They say that the elite or the faithful industry slave class have been appointed by the Son of Man, Yeshua, whom they call Jesus, which if you do research outside of the publications, you'll realize that you should not be calling him Jesus. But because you stay in that closed box, you don't even know that. Okay, so you continue sinning and keep calling God's son Jesus because you're now listening to man instead of God. So they tell their members not to wander off because they are supposedly handpicked by Yeshua. They are the anointed. And so what they say is infallible, right? They don't make any mistakes. And then you'll tell me, no, they've made mistakes before, but the light gets brighter and brighter and brighter. So if they've made mistakes before, and you're following them as if they're not going to make mistakes before, what type of brain do you have? Pay attention to what I've just said. You're following them as if they've not made mistakes before because you're following them without questioning them. Because they're infallible, but they are fallible. So why are you following them without questioning them? That makes absolutely no sense. I remember they compared themselves to Moses and how Korah and Abitham and these other few members of the Israelites would question Moses' eligibility of leading Israel. And so the faithful and discreet slave class would dare compare themselves to Moses. Miriam made that same mistake and was murmuring against Moses. And Miriam was well, let's not get into that. Yahweh spoke to Miriam and Aaron, but specifically Miriam because she was the one, murmuring against Moses. God told Miriam, listen to my words, please. Yeah, the Almighty used the word please. Listen to my words, please. If there was a prophet of mine and I wanted to give him a word, a message, in a dream, I would speak to him. In a vision, I would make myself known to him. Not so with my servant Moses. Mouth to mouth, I speak with him, face to face, thus showing him and not by riddles. So Moses had no room for error. Moses could not make any mistakes because he wasn't interpreting things his own way. He was saying it exactly the way Yahweh was revealing it to him because face to face, mouth to mouth. So there's no room for error with Moses. So if you question Moses, you're deliberately questioning God. So God is saying, why then? Why then, after saying that, if there was a prophet of mine in a vision, in a dream, not face to face, but by riddles. But with Moses, no, it is face to face. It is not by riddles, thus showing him and not by riddles. Why then did you not fear to speak against my servant, against Moses? And then God struck her with leprosy, I believe it was. And she became unclean for about a week or something like that. You see the line of reasoning God used to speak with Miriam after saying please? He's trying to show how dignified Moses is. More dignified than any other prophet that has ever lived apart from Elijah and Yeshua. Moses is the most dignified. So if he is more dignified than all the prophets who are actual prophets and receive visions from God, how can the slave class dare compare themselves to Moses? They are saying if we question them, it's like we are questioning Moses. Does God speak with the faithful and discreet slave class mouth to mouth? Does he speak to them face to face? Does he even show them dreams or visions? No, none of what I've listed. So they are fallible. You have to question them. And if you don't question them, whatever penalty they're going to get is the same penalty you're going to get. Because they are not Moses. So don't let them fool you into thinking, questioning them, you're sinning against God. No, you're questioning man. You're not questioning God. And you're not questioning that Yeshua has put them in a higher position. No, you're questioning the information they're bringing to you. Let's go back to 1914 real quick. If people questioned Charles Taze Russell and the Bible students at that time, they would have been like, wait, hold up. They're wrong. They're okay. They might be chosen by Yeshua to, fulfill a certain mission, but I'm sorry, you guys are wrong on this matter because no one knows the day or the hour. How are you going to tell me that in 1914 is going to be the end of the world? Nobody knows the day or the hour. How are you going to tell me that you're a prophet of God speaking in the name of Yahweh, and then when it happens that there was no rapture or end of world, that you are not now a false prophet? By definition, you have now become a false prophet. And everyone who has followed you and continues spreading that word, that the end is going to come, they too are also false prophets because it's in the name of Yahweh that they are prophesying. They're not just saying we think God hasn't sent us, but we assume 1914 is the end. No. They're saying in Yahweh's name, 1914, end of the world. And then their excuse for that not happening, oh, the light gets brighter and brighter. Well, anybody could do that. Hey, in 2017, September 23, it's going to be, the end of the world. When that day doesn't come, it's the light gets brighter. September 23, something drastic did happen. So hey, let's it doesn't mean I was wrong, it just means I was half right. So let's keep going, How foolish can you be and actually buy into that nonsense? And God's son's name is not Jesus, it's Yeshua. And in English it would be Joshua. Where you get Jesus from? Hail Zeus. Research it. And you would have to go outside the publications of Jehovah's Witnesses to find the answer. God's name is not Jehovah. There was no letter J before the 1500s. His name is Yahweh. And if you want to say Yahweh, you'll still be wrong because the letter J really does not exist. The letter J came from a monk who was practicing on writing the letter I and put a hook at the bottom. And lo and behold, the letter J. So we're going to use what a monk came up with to call God and his son's name.